you can send it to that or directly to you?
Yeah, exactly. So I will upload in Google Drive, and Google Drive I will give the direct access, so you can
Okay.
download directly from there.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. All right, guys. So I hope my screen is visible for everyone. This is the yesterday slide 8, which we are resuming from now today. Okay.
Sorry to interrupt. This is Swati. Today is my first class, and I'm not able to record the class. Dev.
Hey, Swati. Okay, 1 second. Right. I'm making you organizer as well, so you can do recording, and that will be saved on your system. Okay. Right. And Swati, do one thing. I'll share the recording yesterday class, so that just go through whenever you get time. So at least you will have an idea what exactly the basics we discussed yesterday and where are we today. Okay. Swati, is it fine with you? And just go through with the recording. If you get any issue or query, you can discuss tomorrow in session again. Thank you. All right, guys, I'm starting the recording from now. We are going to resume the session, and you can also start from your side. So let's resume the session from yesterday's slide where we left. So we were discussing about the process of EC2, right? EC2 instances, which is actually a compute resources, and a compute resources is nothing. It's similar to your laptop, which we are always collecting. Okay.
Hi. Sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
This is Revati. This is my first class today. Yeah, I think Swati also joined, I think.
I can see only Swati here, not the Revati.
Actually, I'm like trying to install GoToMeeting. It's taking time. That's why I just joined on the phone.
No issues, no issues. Right. That's fine, Revati. We are just resuming the yesterday session where we left yesterday. So I'll share the recorded session from yesterday. So just go through with it. If you have any concern or query something with the basic, so you can come back tomorrow and we'll discuss and try to solve the quick. Okay?
Yeah, sure. Just give us a little bit of background of what we are discussing, and so that we can we can sink in with you.
Yeah, exactly. So discussion is just about kind of the AWS cloud computing currently we are going to discuss. And if you go through with the content also, you will be able to see that first we have a basic understanding of cloud computing, and then there are important services of AWS which we're going to be cover in a session. And here we going to host our lab, and after that we'll perform the DevOps architecture, DevOps discussion, and tools we have available into the list which we're going to be cover out. Okay, so this is the basic slide which I'm covering from the basic understanding of cloud computing and the services itself from the AWS perspective. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. Just go through with the recording yesterday. I'll provide after this session so that you will be able to have idea what exactly we do today.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
All right. Thank you so much. Right. Thank you. All right. I'm looking to host any website, if I'm looking to host any services into the cloud, then definitely I have to buy compute resources first. And after that, like your laptop, if you have a laptop, you can able to install Word, you can install Excel or your PowerPoint, any services like which you are looking for application software. Then you can start work on a laptop. Same thing with EC2 also. You can get the compute resources first, and after that you will have a platform. Then on platform, you can able to install your services and start utilizing according to your need or requirement. Okay, right. And Revati, can you please unmute yourself? If not required, guys, please be on mute. If required, please unmute yourself and we can able to discuss quickly so that will not get any background noises.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Right. Okay. So, guys, this is just a basic understanding or a background process of your AMI. AMI, I have mentioned yesterday, that is the Amazon Machine Image. Amazon Machine Image is something called your cloning process. Okay, like let's say if I'll give you an example, right? You have 10 laptops, and now you want to install the operating system on all 10 instances. So you have one option. You can use the pen drive. We can do one by one in all 10 laptop installation, and that will take time as it is like the standard process. Else you have option, you can do the automation, you can use some centralized window, and you can just broadcast the operating system installation on all 10 and you can done in one time. Otherwise you have available, you can take one copy and you can install that copy with on all instances, so that will also save your time. So it's kind of cloning purpose. Okay, cloning process which Amazon also using, that is called AMI, Amazon Machine Image. So if I'm looking to install Windows 2000 server, if I'm looking to install Linux, Red Hat, any instance, any software which I'm looking for, or any level of customization as well inside that. Customization means here, guys, that will be like inside zip I need Word, I need SQL Server 2010, I need like database services, any other services which you're looking for, you can customize as much as possible with the available of AMI. So you can select the AMI, and AMI are pre-created by AWS. Like this is the life cycle of your AMI, how instance is going to be start in a process. So first you will select your AMI like you have selected the CD of installation of your OS. Okay, just to relate with that. Then your CD is actually, your AMI is coming from S3 in background. S3 is again your centralized storage, which AWS also using for their like their purpose. So they're using for a centralized storage, which is internally AWS, that is accessible privately within AWS, and S3 is a storage you can compare with Google Drive, or you can compare with your Dropbox kind of. Okay, so then your AMI will be come from S3 background, and then your EBS storage. EBS storage is your hard drive, because see, this is your like OS you got, then you will get your hard drive, then you will assign IP address. IP address is something, guys, you have to access your machine from your laptop. So for that I should have some address. Okay, that will be your elastic or your public IP address. I'll go through what exactly elastic IP, what exactly the dynamic IP later, so that we can understand. So now we have an IP address ready. If I will do SSH, if I will do remote on the IP address, I can able to get it. Now, let's say my work is done, because AWS always following the pay-as-you-go model. So if you do shut down your server, then what will happen automatically? Automatically, it will resource automatically detach. Resource means, guys, your hard drive or your like IP address will be automatically detached. Means you are not going to pay for this services while doing shutdown. If your machine is not in use, you are not going to pay anything. Only your storage will be there, which is carrying your OS and your important information about your server. That will be chargeable for a particular time whenever you do the shutdown or whenever you do terminate. So guys, there are two things. One is shutdown, means power off. Whenever I will resume, these things detached will automatically attach again, and you will get your machine as it is, whichever last time you have left at before shutdown. Same thing with terminate. Terminate will also detach, but terminate will detaching plus terminating itself. So all the services which we can able to resume with the start, that will be terminate, destroy completely. And in AWS, guys, there is nothing option available. If you do terminate, if you don't have backup, there is no option to resume the services. Even AWS will also not be able to help you in that case. If you have a backup, like you have AMI, like you have a snapshot, you can able to go with it. But if you terminate without backup, there is no option available to resume the services. Okay, this is the basic life cycle of your AMI, how we connecting instance, how we starting instance, and how we going to be work with the instance. Instance means here is guys, like that is your EC2 instance, which will be your I would say like a similar, you are taking laptop and you are working on it. That's it. Okay. Any question? Let me know, please. Cool. Now we have a EBS. EBS is actually your elastic block storage. Elastic block storage is your hard drive, guys, which we are getting with AWS. Okay. Now we have two types of hard drive in AWS, right? Whenever we creating an instance. So let me give you the basic background, what exactly the hard drive and why we have EBS available in AWS. Okay. Just a moment. I hope this paint screen is visible for everyone. Amit, is this visible?
Yes, yes, Dev.
Yes, Dev.
Super. Thank you. Okay. Now, so guys, how AWS running with the storage and how they playing with the elastic block storage, like why they calling elastic, right? So in background, it is very basic understanding. This is a rack, which I have mentioned yesterday. Rack means, guys, it's a storage kind of. You have a rack, and inside rack you have a multiple servers running, like your server 1, and you have a server 2. Okay, you have a server 3, server 4, like multiple customers, even like different users are having their own machines inside the rack. Now what AWS is providing us by default, which is your root drive. Root drive is something called your C drive, you can say, like in your Windows, like in a Linux, there is a root drive, and root drive carrying your OS, operating system information, like all your kernel information is there. Okay, like if I will talk about here, like this, we have a root drive in every instance. So guys, whenever I'm connecting, I'm starting the EC2 instance with the scratch process, I will take the AMI, and inside AMI I will get like these options. That's it. Like one instance, one server with root drive, which will be your 8 GB or 20 GB by default. You can increase according to your requirement. Now, what is EBS? Where EBS is coming into the picture? So what AWS is doing, guys, like this is one rack, and you have another rack available. Let's say for an example, in zone 2. Okay, this will be your zone 1, zone 2. Now you have another, that is your EBS storage. It's a kind of, I would say, SAN storage system or Ecologic system, or a bigger storage, I would say. Okay, because AWS is always working with a sharing model concept. Now let's say this A server require a 20 GB hard drive of D drive, or you can say the external drive, right, into your drive, into your system. Now I will request to have attached hard drive, and once you will go to raise a request, it will request from this block, like from this bigger SAN storage box we have available. So what AWS API will do for me, they will cut the 20 GB vault for me, and that is going to be attached with my instance like this. Okay, so means now see the process, right? If I am going to shut down this machine, let's say I did shut down this machine, shut down, that's it. Now my root volume and my security group, my elastic IP, everything get reattached. Even this hard drive will also get reattached, but this storage will be remain as it is here, 20 GB, because this is having all your critical information. Now whenever you will resume, this hard drive will come back as it is. So what is the benefit of it, guys? You can remove this hard drive anytime from here to here, from here to here, from here to here. All instances you can able to connect with a single hard drive. Like at a point of time, one instance can be attached, but you can remove this hard drive easily. It's a kind of hot and swap function. Now after this, once, because we understand, right? See, these are bigger instances, like you can say bigger hardware in background. Then definitely AWS also require a maintenance, right? It's understood, because there are a lot of things will be going on, like SMPS is there, power failure is there, hardware upgradation is there, firmware is there on a physical background, right, on your data center. Like in your laptop also, guys, you should do update, right? You should do hardware upgrade, you should do RAM upgrade, you should do memory upgrade. There are a lot of things will be come into the picture regularly. And if these are the bigger giants, they definitely doing regularly. So what they do generally, guys, to solve this problem, without impacting running customer, they will keep notification to the customer. Let's say they have sent the notification to A system and B system, right? All the system get a notification because they are in same rack. Okay, so they will get a notification, hey, your rack or your hardware maintenance is scheduled after 15 days on a particular time. So what you have to do, right? You will only do, they will give you instruction as well, guys. The instruction will be simple: do shutdown and start. That's it. If you do shutdown and start this machine from here, then automatically this machine will move from here to on this rack. This will be happen automatically. So this function called your something DRS function, right, where they doing the machine movement in background, which is vMotion, virtual motion system. So what they doing now, this machine will be started automatically here once you will do shutdown and start. Now your machine has been moved here automatically in background, and this hard drive is automatically attached here because this having the configuration and files inside the box automatically, and this will remove from here. Same thing will be happen, guys, with all your instances, and they will move back easily once we'll do the shutdown and start. This is the vMotion technology they are using, and they will on their window, they will do the hardware maintenance. Once the box will be up, they will start assigning this box to other customers. And this vMotion technology, guys, always they are following. Whenever you will do shutdown, your instance will be moved back another available hardware. And this will not going to impact your any business, any activity. Everything will be remain same because your main drive is actually coming from a different location, which we are not going to touch, and which AWS also not touching from their end. Okay, so this is the basic understanding of EBS and the root volume. And guys, there is one more hard drive which we call it as a ephemeral volume, means temporary hard drive. Generally we are not discussing because we are not using that hard drive much, but ephemeral is a kind of question which we are getting always in interview. Means you got to understand, right? This is a rack, and rack also having the hardware, like this rack having CPU, this rack having a hard drive, this rack having memory, this rack having counts, network, everything is available, right, with this rack. Whenever I'm going to create my instance, I will get one root drive and I will get one that is a temporary ephemeral volume. Means with this instance also have a local storage, this one like this. So guys, your local storage will be attached automatically whenever your instance will be part of this. And same thing will be happen with each rack. You will get a local storage by default. Now what will happen if I will do shutdown from here, then this machine will be moved automatically. That is understandable, but this local volume will not move. But guys, this is because this is a temporary, this is the attached local hard drive volume. That is why we call it as a ephemeral. So whenever your box will move here, it will get another hard drive which will be local from this box. So that is why we call it ephemeral, because if you do shutdown and start, all the data will be available here, will be erased automatically, and you will get a fresh hard drive which is called ephemeral and temporary. So people are using this only for like few temporary logs and temporary files, not for actual data, which can be harm after shutdown, right? Any question, let me know. Are we clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Dave,
Yeah.
I have a question. So is that each rack is something like each company's data, or how it is?
Not actually. See, particular rack, actually one rack having around 50 plus servers in background can be capacity. So if there are 50 plus instances available, that means 50 customers are running on it, right? Only AWS is giving us option if we are a bank or if we are a higher security, like the business we are running, then we have a capability. We can able to get complete whole rack, and you have to just pay the extra charges for this. In that case, only one customer will be run. Else, your multiple customer is running there. You actually don't know which customer is running with me on a rack particular.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so let's go back to our slide. Right. Now, EBS instances we understand now. And guys, this is just a process of terminating and the billing purpose, right? Just a basic cost understanding here. Means AWS working with a pay-as-you-go model. So if I am using that machine for a particular hour, I'm going to pay the charges for particular hour. If I am doing a shutdown or start, like let's say I have run my instances 30 minutes and after that I did shutdown and I'm starting again after 30 minutes. So if the instance is started after 30 minutes and I'm using again for 30 minutes, that means you're going to charge for twice, right? Because every shutdown or start, they're treating as a new hour. That is the policy they have in background, okay? Else, if you're using that instance for a particular time, only that particular time you're going to pay the bill, pay as you go model. Cool. And yeah, this is the basic criteria, guys. Whenever we're going to create a EC2 instance, like a first selection of region. I hope region is understandable. Yesterday we discussed region means the country, and this is the basic question criteria also, guys. Whenever you get a new project or whenever company asks you to create a designing, so you can ask first the reason which they are going to look out, right? And based on reason, you can decide the nearest location for us. Like let's say you are in US, then you in US, which location you are. If we are in from North California, then I should be able to create my instance in North California region, so that I should be able to get a basic like latency, less latency. So like if I am doing this, just for understanding, guys, see ping google.com. So this will give me the like the latency, which will be around if you see here that something called 4.930 ms or something. Okay, if I'm doing ping yahoo.com, this will give me around different latency, like which is 490, because this one is Google is serving from India and this is serving from the US, right? So because of my location, they are treating like which one is best nearest location for me. So that is why region selection is always good to just maintain your the higher latency between your server to your user, where they are accessing your abc.com or whichever website you are looking for. Then OS will be your Linux, or that can be Windows, up to you. Software will be more customization. We'll discuss what these are. EBS instances mostly is the latest one, which we are using always. Instance bank store, not anymore working this time. Bit is something, guys, 64-bit or 32-bit. Mostly standard family currently familiarization working with the 64-bit only. There is no 32-bit, but a lot of time we getting compatibility or a legacy instances, then we have to go with the 32-bit only. Then your size, CPU, up to you, you're going to have it. Input IO is actually your input output performance. Input output performance, guys, we always using for critical databases where we are looking for higher read and write, right? Getting the lot of hits on my website. Then based on the performance I want to increase, then database should be with the IO performance should be enabled there. So it's a hard drive. I'll discuss what exactly these are. These are the instances. I'll discuss more on console. That will be more easier. Okay. Yeah. So guys, this is the one more important part. There are 3 types of instances available, and this is also part of the interview question. So people can ask, right? There are 3 types of instances. One will be your OD instances. OD is, guys, that is on-demand instances. On-demand instances is something pay-as-you-go, which we are just discussing from till now. That's it. Second one will be your reserved instances. Reserve means we are going to reserve a capacity, and that capacity means like let's say we have a business, and we can understand now, hey, we can able to run our services till next 1 year easily without any interruption, right? Because if we'll compare the capacity between your like on demand and the reserve capacity, the higher charges will be OD, on demand, you can able to pay, right? So reserve instance is always cheaper, and but we using there when we are good with the commitment with AWS. Like we can tell AWS, hey, we are good with your services, and we can able to resume, or we can able to use this services till next 1 year. So there are terms and a kind of vendorship you can able to have it, like 1 year or 3-year contract. So between that, AWS will give us around 65 to 75% discount on a particular services. So based on study and based on understanding, reserve instances is superb and easiest option to save a cost from a bigger level on a, like for a good organizations bigger, where they have like around thousands of instances running, then you can easily go with the reserve instances, and that can be save our cost around 65% easily. Okay. Now, last one is the spot instances. Spot instances is something, guys, that will be relates your billing, kind of bidding purpose, right? Auction. So let's say being a customer, I have purchased around 30 instances, I reserve the capacity. But after 6 months, I'm deciding like, hey, I'm not be able to continue with AWS, or I want to sell something, because you can't end up with the contract at 1 year, at least you have to serve, right? There is a condition. So in spot instances, guys, there are a lot of customers who selling their hardware, who giving the kind of bidding option. So people are doing auction there, right? Let's say there is a 10 instances available, and I want to keep my like the pricing 0.3 point like $20 something I have given. So if that price is high there, AWS will give me that instance, and I can able to use my work, and after that I can remove. That's it. So spot instance is good for your shortest work, or like kind of, let's say you have a press conference, you have a release for tonight, and I maybe require hundreds of instances for a particular 8 hours only. After that, it can be delete, it can be terminate. I'm not going to bother my data, because I just need to run my some scripts or conference calls. That's it. Then the best example, you can able to set the spot instances there. I can able to do the bidding, and if my bidding is higher than the other, I can able to get that instance, and I can able to utilizing the services. Okay. So there are 3: OD, on demand, and then reserve instances, then your spot instances. Spot instances have a different scenario, which I just discussed. Reserve instances also have a different scenario. OD is always standard and common pay-as-you-go model, which we are referring like to work with it. Okay. All right. So every instance, whenever we're going to create, guys, that will be comes with your by default private IP address, and after that there will be a public IP address. What exactly these are, I'm going to start with the services. Like once we'll create the instance, you guys will able to see that by default what we're getting and what exactly these are. This is just important information about AWS services pay, right? This is the one service only, guys, Elastic IP address, where AWS is saying if you are paying, sorry, if you are using, it's free. If you're not using, then it is paid. Means there are reserved IP addresses available of public IP address. Public IP address is something, guys. See, this is my Google. If I'm saying what is my IP, this will be your provider IP, right? This one. So this I can say this is my public IP. If I want to make my global address, right, on a laptop, I will use this address to distribute something. So same thing with AWS. AWS is also giving us Elastic IP, which you can able to get and globalize your application. But if you allocate the IP address and you are not using, that will be chargeable. So better, if you're using that, keep it. If you're not using, release that IP address so that other customer can able to utilize their services. Okay, so always keep in mind about the elastic IP addresses, because they unnecessarily they're generating the charges in background. All right, so this one is something, guys, the example of public and private connectivity. Means if my EC2 instance have a public IP address, like I just shown you 103, or that's the global IP address. If that is attached, I can able to access my website from outside over the internet. If I want to keep that instance as a secure, right, without exposing to the internet, that will be like your database server. See this one, database server, and you have an app server available, for example. So 111 web server is only having the internet access. After that, there is no connectivity between this app server to like DB server over the internet. So user cannot be able to enter in your database server. How to design this, how to perform this architecture, we'll discuss in VPC when we'll do the lab practice. But this is just an example. If I want to keep my server insecure, I'm not going to attach a public IP address. I'm not going to expose that via internet. I will only use the private subnetting, and I will use the private connectivity between instances within the AWS only. Okay. Now this is the another part of security, which we can say, guys, security group, right? That is the, again, it's a logical firewall in AWS. So in the physical data center, guys, if I'll talk about the firewall, to manage the firewall rules, we have a separate network team, and that require we should have a strictly expertise in firewall. Okay, then I can able to manage the rule only. But in AWS, it's a logical firewall. It's a virtual firewall where you can able to attach the rule and customize by yourself inbound traffic and outbound traffic. Inbound is something, guys, when someone hitting your abc.com and request is coming to your web server, you can customize that request. Like, I want to be exposed only port 80 because my website is going to listen on that port, else I'm not going to allow, right? I want to allow only 3389, that will be my RDP access, else I'm not going to allow. So it's up to you how you're going to customize. I'll show the security group that will really going to solve the understanding what exactly these are, how we can secure as much as possible. Okay, so there are a lot of best practices which we are going to discuss after this. Cool. There is a one more, guys, the EC2 key pair. EC2 key pair is a PAM based authentication file which we are getting from AWS whenever we creating instance, and that will be complete coming with the encryption format. Means the root key you will get from AWS while creating EC2 instance. If you lose that key, AWS won't be able to return back the key because they are not saving anywhere that key. Okay, so better we can get the first time key, after that reset your password or save the key somewhere for a critical time. If you get some trouble with your user login or something, you can use the key to reset the password. There is one option, guys, only one. If you lose the key, after that you want to access your instance, create the AMI of particular instance and then generate and attach with a new key. Then only you can get authorized inside, else there is no option available. Okay, I'll discuss about what exactly these are because these terms are totally new for you guys. So that will be more understandable once we'll do the lab practice quickly. Right. There are three types of hard drive, guys. One is solid state drive, which is SSD, general purpose, which is very good for your general uses like web server and app server, whichever we are going to work. Most of the time we're going with SSD. Next we have here, that is the PIOPS. Actually, it's the IOPS. IOPS is also coming with the SSD, but with IOPS we can able to have, guys, the extra input and output speed. Input and output speed will help you to write queries frequently on your database. So generally we preferring this hard drive with our database to increasing the performance and managing the good result with the from app server or from database when fetching the request from the user perspective. Last one is magnetic, not useful at all, because this one is very cheaper, but people always getting with the SSD with the same rate. So magnetic, just ignore. We are not going to use with anywhere. In POC itself, we preferring go with SSD. All right, so guys, this one last screen is something called the familiarization with AWS EC2. I mean Linux flavors actually. So we have Amazon Linux, Ubuntu, Debian, and RHEL, right? It's something old, but we have now I think 9.3 or something available, which we can able to get it done from accessible. Okay. So if we'll see here like CentOS, Fedora, SUSE, and Bitnami, these are the keys. And guys, these are the by default username available. I'll share this slide also so that you guys won't get any trouble like while logging first time on instances. So Amazon Linux EC2 dash user, Ubuntu admin, and EC2 only RHEL having the root, right? And CentOS also having the root. So these are the by default user which we are going to create first time the instance. So first time login with this, after that it's up to you. You can create your sudo user, you can do the permission according to your requirement and start utilizing as a normal instances. Okay. Guys, give your, just let me know your comfortable OS level, right? Which will be, yeah, Sangamitra, I'm sharing the PPT. One
Thank you,
second, let me check if I can able to share on GoToMeeting. I'm not sure whether it is possible, else I'll share definitely. Okay, so guys, are you comfortable with Windows or Linux? What is the majority here in batch?
Linux.
Linux, superb. Amit,
Yeah,
what about you?
I'm comfortable with Linux as well.
Awesome, right. And Swati, Revati?
I'm comfortable with Windows.
Okay.
Yeah, Windows.
So what about Linux? If we'll do?
We don't know how much it differs.
Okay. Yeah. We'll because we are not going to do it very high level very first, right? It is about just a basic creation of OS and then doing the setting inside. So probably you will definitely like it because Linux is kind of when we are touching the DevOps, then this Linux operating system will be always there. Okay. So that will be more helpful.
Okay,
Right.
yeah, then we'll see the Linux only.
Yeah, definitely. That will be good learning as well. In case anything, then we are here to help. So that will be understandable. All right.
Okay.
Good. Thank you. So, right. And guys, Amit, Sangamitra, Swati, and Revati, please create AWS account by tomorrow whenever we'll enter in session. So that will be more helpful. So go to aws.amazon.com and you can create your account with a new email ID. Okay?
Yep. Okay.
Sure. Because that will be more helpful if we are going to use our account, and that will be more helpful while doing the lab practice, and that will be kind of understandable and your own practice. So it is not for the lab only. Again, I'm repeating, it will be give you 1 year. So you can utilize the free tier at least for your personal, all the practicals after session ending as well.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Sure.
सबीना ये बोल रही थी
Just a moment, guys. Let me check why account not working. I think it's associated with different account. So I'm just checking. All right, here we go. So I got login, and you can also do like creation of account tomorrow, and so that will use same for your practice. And I will create everything in lab first, and then you can able to going to perform in your instance. Okay. So let's go to EC2 first. So guys, there are overall services available around 300 plus. These are services available, which different criteria. So if I'm a developer, I can able to get my the coding related applications, which will be your like the data pipeline, and you have code commit, code pipeline services available, which is most dedicated for the profile as well. And if I'm looking in the security, then I can able to see these services available for the security. Database related services are available, migration services available, and AWS has a different criteria, which we can able to see that, right? So if I'm a developer, it is not like that, like I can't able to work on VPC, I can't able to work, because they all services are going to integrate itself, and you can able to work according to the process. Machine learning also having a different purpose of the services available. According to that, we're going to be utilized with the services. Okay. So very first, we're going to start with EC2, as I mentioned, that it will be your compute resources, very basic. And then we'll move to network creation, how to secure this actually, right? So first I want to give you the default condition, then we'll do the customization condition. Right. I hope screen is visible for everyone, guys. That will be your AWS console this time. In case
Yes.
not, please let me know. Super. Okay. Now click on running instances. So I have 0 currently. If you click on launch instance, now let's discuss about the option available, which we can able to get utilized, right? So guys, very first, there is a quick start tab available. What is the meaning of quick start? Quick start is something, guys, which is 100% okay, and like you can say tested and passed by AWS. To start quick start, you can use the AMI and you can get the benefit according to your requirement. So very first, if you see this, there are around 40 AMIs available, and Amazon Linux is, again, guys, it's a Red Hat in background, but it's a customized AMI provided by AWS. And what AWS is giving us inside, that will be, guys, it will give you the EC2 fins and Gibbs and Burns duets and the latest software package through extracts, which will be you can able to have a support. Okay, that will be done by AWS. And AMI ID also they have given, it's a customized, and it's like 64-bit and 32-bit both are compatible. Now another one, if you see here, that will be Red Hat. So this will be, if you see this, check this one first. Amazon Linux AMI, that will be your SSD volume, that is by default actually. But if you see here what we are getting inside, by default Ruby, Perl, Python, Java, and Docker, right? PHP, MySQL. So these are packages, guys, by default inside installed. You can able to get it. So you don't have to install the Python after this, because the customization done by AWS. So that is the benefit. If I will use this, I can able to work on these packages by default. I can able to save the time. And if you're looking for most of the time, like, you know, blank OS, where I can able to install my Perl, my Python, and according to my requirement, then we can able to go with Red Hat Linux 8, which will be your blank OS. It's just a core OS, that's it. Inside that you will see there is no package installed. So I can able to use this and I can able to utilize. And there is one more thing also, guys. If you see this free eligible tag, right? This is only I can able to use for my free tier account. If there is no tag like this one, then I have to pay the charges according to that. So just see before launching the instance based on your requirement. Okay. Now there are more. If you see after this, there is a Ubuntu 18.4, which is latest available, right? LTS flavor, and you can able to use that. This will be also giving you guys the blank OS without any customization done. But if I'm looking more customization with the Windows base, also see Windows 2019 base, there is no customization. This is the data center edition. I can able to get it. Deep Drive, deep learning instance available with more customization. See NVIDIA, CUDA, like, and but these are, guys, something chargeable basis. That is why it is not coming with the more on free eligible tier. So you have to pay a little bit amount whenever you will go with it. See, if I'm looking for more, 2000 base with container, Windows basic, and in this condition, see, we can able to get, guys, 2017 standard SQL inbuilt with this machine. Okay, that will be inside the data center edition. After that, we have more enterprise, more customization. So 2016 base, Amazon Linux, SUSE, like, so done. Ubuntu 16 is the oldest which we have available, but you can search out more, right? So guys, these are the quick start. Just simple go through here and select the instance according to your requirement and just start quickly. Now go to my AMI. My AMI is blank currently, guys, because I have not created any my customized AMI. We'll show what exactly this is and what is the use for that. Now, if you go to marketplace. So if I talk about, guys, quick start, it doesn't have the CentOS, right? If you see here, there is no CentOS because the CentOS is something called like a additional image, which is not coming in by default. So if you go to marketplace, and a lot of time it is happening, you guys will get a requirement of unique operating system, which is not available by default. I will simply go to CentOS, okay? And I will see here, I can able to get it done. If it is a free eligible, definitely I'm good with that. If it is not, I have to pay little bit chances, little bit price according to that. Okay, there are a lot of which we can able to get it according to the requirement, right? Let's say I'm looking something with Splunk. Type it, see, Splunk Phantom, right? These are the vendor specific AMI. Vendor has been done according to their requirement, and these are available. So we can able to select and start utilizing according to that. If I am looking something with the Nagios, see. So most of the time, guys, you guys will able to find out a lot of vendors in market, they have uploaded their own AMI. So these AMI are directly maintained by their vendor itself, not with AWS. They have just authorizing and they are okay tested and they just coming on this platform for us. It's a complete, your like in your phone, you have a Play Store. Same thing AWS Marketplace is providing here. You can get all the AMIs according to your requirement. Now, guys, another one, these are the community. Community is something called, it's created by us, right? Like someone developer, and he did his some investigation, he did some software, and now he likes the idea. He can able to upload here, and that will be kind of if required people is searching same, we can able to search that AMI, if I'm looking that kind of similar solution, I can able to get that, guys, and AWS will pay the charges little bit amount to the vendor as well, like the developer as well, who has created his own invention. That is why this is called community. So community, but in community also, guys, there is no guarantee by AWS, because might be that developer has some script inside which can be steal your data. So just be aware of that, and before going through, check the instance according to that, according to your kind of convenient. But this is something platform where we can able to earn also the money with AWS. Okay, that is the called community. Now you have your all the operating system and the features available, which we can able to get filters and the 64-bit EBS instance according to the requirement. Now we always going with the guys the quick start, which we are preferring. Okay, I hope this window is clear, and which we can start quickly. So by tomorrow, guys, I'm just expecting you guys should have all the account fresh, which we can able to start utilizing according to process. And we'll discuss tomorrow about this dashboard events. We have very good options available at right side, which left side tab, which we can able to use and start utilizing the process. And we'll create instance tomorrow. We'll do the lab. We'll complete with the process. Okay. Let me know if any query. I'll make sure to upload the recordings today from yesterday itself, actually, so that you can able to get from the Google Drive.
Okay.
Okay.
Super. So Swati and Revati, let me know please if you have any concern, as you are new today. So I know like there are terms which should be not clear at all in first time, but if you go through with the document, yeah, if you go through with the slides, you go through with the yesterday recording, that will be more easiest. But still, let me know if anything.
Yes, sure, Dev. We'll go through the documents and yesterday recording. But I mean, if possible, can we both can together have a separate session, like Saturday or Sunday, on your availability? I mean, if we miss something like that, is it possible to have a
Revati, I can't comment on that Saturday, Sunday, because that totally depends on the availability again, right, which you are saying. So because I have other batches also scheduled on, especially with the weekend. So I'll check according to that, and in coming time we'll arrange something. Okay. Sure.
I mean, we can talk some time. I mean, whenever you have some available time, so we can schedule according to you.
Definitely.
Swati,
Yeah.
Swati, I think if we wait till Saturday, like today is what, Wednesday, right? So again, 2 more classes will be there, and we won't understand anything. I think it's better to discuss today before we start the next class tomorrow. Then only we will be able to, otherwise it's the terminologies and all.
Yeah, I know what you are saying, but what I'm telling is, I mean, we missed yesterday's class, and all those terminologies are different. I mean, new for us. So, I mean, we'll go through the recordings and the PPT, the presentation, everything. And after then, still, if we want to discuss means, then we can schedule with Dave accordingly his availability.
No, better would be just go through with the recording right today, and we'll meet tomorrow. If any concerns, so that will be get clear in session as well itself quickly.
Okay, yes. That's good.
Sure. So
Recordings you'll be sending through email, or how it is going to be?
Yeah, I think that Srinivas or Magna Infotech, you guys having like all the email IDs of your or not?
Yeah, they have.
Okay, no issues. Then I'm going to share the document and the drive access to Srinivas. He will contact you soon, or maybe if you're not getting any response in next 1 hour, please bug him so that he can able to come back to you. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your guys, Swati, Revati, and Sangamitra Amit. Thank you so much for your time. Let's catch you tomorrow at same time.
Dev, can you please share the content document as well with the PPT?
I'm giving you, I'm giving everything to Srinivasan tonight. Okay, onto the drive. So drive having the document, and In future also, if we'll use the cheat sheet, if we use the document, and if you use any slide, that will be there automatically.
Yeah, that will be very much helpful. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye bye. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Yep.